Yo, what is going on, guys? It is your boy Lotus, and we are back today with another Tekken 8 video. For today's video, we're going to be talking about a multitude of things since I haven't really, spoke to you guys in a bit, so I kind of wanted to do this again. Usually, we have these type of talks, and we end up sparking conversations down in the comment section, so hopefully we'll be able to do that again for today's video. So, yeah, without further ado, let's get right into it. So, the first thing I want to talk about is the patch itself. Now, obviously, the patch has been out for a few days already. There's nothing that significant that happened, so if you're expecting any changes, oh well, you have to go look elsewhere and hope and pray that we'll get something in the future, you know? But as of now, there is no patch for this game since Armor King has came out for early access. He is not out fully to the public yet at the time of making this video. And when he actually comes out, which I believe is it, I think the 16th, I think? He'll be available for everybody. Now, from what I've seen from Armor King, looks great. Character looks like he still has a bunch of his Tekken 7 stuff, on top of the fact that obviously he's playing Tekken 8 now and he has a bunch of new stuff. And I can't wait to get my hands on him and obviously try him out, because that was my main character in Tekken 7, and then obviously now progressing through Tekken 8, Victor was obviously our boy, and Victor will still be our boy. There's no change there. But it's going to be great to integrate Armor King to the channel now. I'm going to be hoping that I do like him, because there's so many things that I've been doing lately when it comes to playing things or fighting games in general, and it's kind of going to be a lot to try to, integrate everything that we're doing. But yeah, no patch. Very weird, right? Because I don't think we were expecting a big old patch, but I think the majority of us were hoping that maybe they could at least make a couple changes. But no, it seems like the top 5 is going to stay in the top 5, and a lot of characters are just going to have to just wait for the next one. Maybe that's going to be when season 3 starts, and then hopefully that'll be more significant changes. But other than that, we don't really have anything else to talk about for new updates and stuff, so which sucks. But our boy Victor will still be the same until season 3. So the next thing I do want to talk about, though, is Victor himself, because I made a post last week? Might have been last week at the time of making this video last week. And it was regarding talking about my God of Destruction run. And obviously I have not gone for the God of Destruction run. Haven't really felt the need to do it yet. We're still Tekken God Supreme. But obviously when I do go for it, it's going to be at least 15k points I need to get the God of Destruction. So it's going to be a journey, to say the least, to try it. I think we could do it, but what I wanted to go back to was the post that I made. Now, I don't want to pronounce his name wrong, but our GOAT himself, the GOAT of Victor's, Xbeck, he's fantastic. And, if you haven't watched his content, you should probably go check out his content, because he's such a very, very strong Victor. And I mean this in every way possible. It's I don't see many Victors play the way he plays. And this is not to glaze him. This is not to, sit here and just make the whole video about him, and hype him up. But it's when I watch his Victor, I learn so much from just, seeing what he applies. Because obviously he plays Victor very differently compared to, somebody like me. And obviously, if you guys know me, I play Victor very high octane. There's a lot of gimmicky things that I apply with Victor. I kind of go for the most unsafe mix-ups when it comes to Victor, because Victor is a character that requires you, in order to have decent success, to take some of these risks, right? Because he has a good enough offense in order to push people to their limits and force them to guess every time. Now, obviously, this comes with a lot of counterplay, because Victor is not the safest character, and a lot of the stuff that he does end up doing can be countered or sidestepped, or if you know the matchup anyway, yeah, it's going to be kind of like a cakewalk for most characters, or most people that play the game in general, right? But when I'm watching Xbeck play, Xbeck, like I said, if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, I apologize. But he's there's something about him. Anytime I watch him move and stuff, he doesn't really rely on a lot of crazy high octane mix-ups that I would use personally. And this is not a bad thing in any way, shape, or form. It just shows you that he's such a better player, obviously, than me. And he's able to take Victor and put him in the limelight where you don't need to play super crazy with him. You could actually, like, while Victor is still very strong and Victor requires a lot of, like, the high octane offense, take a risk here and there, right? Victor is very good enough to win games by just like chipping away and like doing safer options, right? And it's something that I've noticed him that he does a lot, especially when it comes to like checking people. Like, I don't really use down forward one a lot, and down forward one's actually pretty solid for Victor. It's really good. It may not be the best down forward one in the game, but it gets the job done, right? And I've seen him like sidestep into down forward one, or like after a down forward one sidestep, whatever, or sidewalk, I mean, like stuff like that, where it's just like, it's the little things that matter. 1+2 is obviously something that he uses a good amount too. I've used this a good amount, but I kind of just use it on prediction now. If I think somebody's gonna press, he kind of just like he uses it in such a meticulous way, and I think that's like the best way of describing his gameplay. It's like, it's such a meticulous way of playing Victor, and it just makes me sit there and go, damn, that is a really good way of playing it, because it actually could frustrate your opponent. And Victor's also another character that obviously, like we've said this in the past, that he doesn't really have the greatest load when it comes to like damage, or when it comes to like frame data. Obviously down back 4 is really good because it is +4, which then would guarantee him that if they mash, you also have this that would also catch them as well. And it's little things like that where we're like, okay, this is pretty nice, but it's not what makes Victor great, in my opinion. It's like the weakest part of Victor is his poking, and obviously he sucks when it comes to being a high risk, low reward character, and he has he's very susceptible to sidesteps, right? But I've also gotten away from using a button that I've seen him use as well, which is up 2. And up 2 is fantastic still. I still think it's a very good mid. Homing mid, 19 frames, goes pretty damn far, +7 on hit, and I believe on counter hit. Excuse me. It's still +7. Okay, yeah. Still +7. There's no change there. But it's a very good homing mid. Tracks, obviously, sidesteps and stuff, and it can really like change the outcome of a lot of people's movements, because obviously, right, when you're playing anybody, the majority of the time people are going to have a set way of playing, and they're not going to be able to change their way, because some people are just kind of autopilot in that way, right? They kind of just flow with the same stuff, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, then oh well. There's no adaptation there. And up 2 is such a really good button to use still, in my opinion. We also have down 2 that down 2 is still really good. It also creates a lot of space too, being 0 on block. And with it being 0 on block, if they decide to press something that's super late, 1+2 will clip them. And then once they get hit by 1+2 because they decided to press, obviously big launcher. And obviously, why am I dropping this now? This is easy. Big launcher, and you get the gist at the end of it. Wall to wall, you pop heat, and if you're actually like good at the game and you're not bad like me, I don't know why I can't get this to work now. Oh my lord! If you're not bad at the game, you can actually just play the game properly. And there you go. And then you can still get your patent setup that Victor has. I don't know why I'm just dropping stuff. That's what happens when you're just trying to make a video, and then this stuff happens where you just can't land anything. But yeah, I love the way his Victor plays, and I'm going to be starting to implement more of what I've been seeing, because obviously when you're playing anything, right, or if you're watching anybody that you see on YouTube or in competition, like when I'm watching Farzine play, I've noticed that Farzine's a very high octane player. He obviously sticks with Victor's gimmicks. He kind of like uses the duck a little bit more. He actually uses Perfumer 3, which I don't use a lot, and I was thinking about using this more because that's obviously safe mid, and if they get hit, you can confirm it's a heat, your heat dash, which is great. But there's like a lot of things that Farzine does where I'm like, yeah, this is very good, because Victor requires you to sometimes just completely put your foot on the pedal. I'll put your foot in front of the gas, right? The gas pedal. And you just keep going. Now, obviously, there's times though where Farzine needs to play a little bit more reserved, and he kind of has to sit there and take his time more, because you can't stay there and play that entire offensive, because obviously better players are going to sit there and adapt and play more defensive, and obviously bait you to do more and see what you're getting away with and obviously what you're not. It's like the one thing that I've always seen, like people always say to me, is that how do I always get people to like sit here and respect this? And this comes into like the next section that we're going over, is mental stack, right? Because mental stack is a very big thing with Victor, and I think that's a lot of like what comes with the character. Victor's a high mental stack type of character to play. If you don't have mental stack with him, it's not going to work. Victor is a character that you need to have a lot of matchup knowledge on. And if you don't have the matchup knowledge on Victor, it's going to really show in a match. And it's not going to end well for your opponent, because obviously it'll be great for you if you're playing Victor, but other than that, they're going to be frustrated because obviously a lot of people don't tend to see this character that often. And when people do see Victor, it just becomes such a crazy force of offense where people are like, well, how the hell do I deal with it if I don't see this character anymore? And that just comes with labbing, right? And Victor obviously requires that mental stack like we just went over, where if I'm able to get away with this and I'm seeing my opponent like letting me do stuff like this, then I know for a fact that they're either too scared to press or they don't know the matchup. And it also comes to where I've seen people do this, and this comes with you like playing the game as well and understanding what your opponent is and not doing at the same time. That I've seen people duck this out of my stance, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's a mental no, right? You take stuff like that, and if you see your opponent duck it, then you're like, okay, he may have a little bit of matchup knowledge, which is ideal because stuff like that needs to be ducked. You can't just be sitting there taking that from Victor the entire time, because that's a +3 every time. And usually when I see somebody duck it, I'm like, bet, if you're gonna duck it now, then let's see what you do when I do this. And if they get hit, obviously at the wall, this will splat, and then you can go into whatever mix-up you want. And if they are being very impatient, this will hit every time, because most impatient players are going to think that they can just duck it and press, or they're going to be pressing automatically because they don't want to wait, because they think you're going to cancel, right? But better players are going to be more patient, and if obviously they're more patient in this scenario here, then something like this, -19 will be launch punishable and Victor dies. And it's the same thing if Victor commits to this part, -18, Victor dies. Even though if you actually like do the entire ender of it, there's enough time in between there where you can actually just jab Victor out of the air and you can still confirm it regardless. So it's like little stuff like that that you kind of have to understand with your with the character that you're playing. And it sucks that Victor has to take a lot of that risk, because Victor is a very high risk character. There's not much that he can do that's very, very safe, but the stuff that he does do safe, it works for the most part. I did want to talk about a route that I've been trying to implement more into my gameplay as well. Let's put him at the wall. So it's a route that involves using up 1-1. Now I used to just do something like this. 62 damage. I used to do that. I'm like, well, I'm sacrificing damage at this point because I've been watching like so many other Victors, and I'm like, damn, I gotta like really update my Victor. And now this route, it's the same ender, 67 damage. You could also now do this. If I don't drop it, we're gonna be here all day now. Nice little 71 damage. Very good, right? It's like it's about the little things and the little optimization that you can do. Now, this also goes into what we're going to be talking about, which is the other mix-up I've been doing. Well, not mix-up, but like a setup that I've been doing. And again, I've seen this setup more by Victors as well, where it's just very strong. And it involves this. And then you could do whatever. Now, obviously, he's on quick backslide here. We'll show you that if he's on side Ukemi, if I don't drop it. Oh, please, for the love of God, game. Stuff like that will work, and it tracks. Also, EI2 will track them, and then you also have now 1+2 will track them as well. It's a nice like little setup that I've been trying to implement more and more, and it catches a lot of people off guard because the majority of the time when you're playing Victor, right? We're not even gonna go for the op because I don't want to drop it again. You would just go for something like this, and then apply that, and that's obviously still great, but it's always good to have open options, right? And you want to always expand your offense, expand your setups some more. Never ever just like sit there and just think that this is the only way. This is what I do, and this is what's going to work, because obviously there will always be counterplay. There will always be people that lab a little bit extra more than you, and if it doesn't work, sometimes against a player that's labbed this, you're gonna have to like obviously adjust yourself and see what you could do more later. Another thing that I usually love doing with Victor now is I will put him on the infinite stage here, where you've seen me do these routes and I've talked about these routes before, and I will always say this: you don't have to copy the way I play. Just always take what I do and apply it to your own game plan, because obviously we're all trying to get better at the end of the day, and that's what I do. I take from the people that I watch, Expect, Farzine, all these other great Victor players, and I take what they do, and I just apply it to my game plan. Because obviously we're all, like I said, we're all gonna play different. I'm not gonna have the same Victor as a Farzine or an Expect. My Victor is completely different from their Victors, and that's the beauty of it, right? Because we're all playing the same character if you are a Victor main, but we all have different ways of playing. And for me, like I said, you guys have seen me do these routes before, but stuff like this is very good for like Oki and keeping up your next mix-up. Obviously, I'll put the command history on so you guys can see, just in case if there's that one person in the comments that doesn't really understand my route that I'm taking here, but you can see it. And I did it wrong anyway. But yeah, let's do it again. But yeah, it's like little stuff like this that I always try to implement more into my game as I keep dropping them, right? Because you always have to keep your opponent on your toes. Stuff like this is really good to do. And the same thing can be applied to doing this. Oh, I'm terrible at the game. Don't mind me. Because I've done this route a million times. You guys have seen this. And then you can do whatever. And obviously, if they roll to the left, you could also end it with that if they roll. And then if they roll and you see them chasing, you can end it with Heat Smash. It's like little stuff like that where you can kind of just play around and do what you want to do. You could also apply this route to the same route that you saw for the first one. You could also do it with this as well. Nice little 77 damage into your next mix-up, right? And that's where I always like thrive, where I kind of just want to put my foot on the gas pedal and just keep going and make sure that my opponent is forced to consistently have to guess. But yeah, it's also too, I also do the same thing with my heat burst routes, is that when I use my heat burst now, there's obviously like weird routes that a lot of people end up not understanding that it doesn't work. Like stuff like this will always like not work, but you could also do the same routes that I was doing that you saw prior, where you just take a little, like a nice little sidestep here, and then you do the same thing. Now obviously I dropped it there, but you guys understand what I'm trying to show you, that you kind of want to always put your opponent in this scenario where they have to guess. I don't know why I'm dropping it now when I have hit this thing consistently before. Maybe if I like try it one more time. There you go. Stuff like that, right? Where it's like you always want to have newer ways to open up your opponent, newer ways to apply your setups, because then this opens up your game way more than you're actually like used to. I'm trying to think if there's any other thing that I have usually mentioned. Oh, you know what's funny is that I've actually done this too, where if you guys have seen in my like recent videos and stuff, when I'm like using like newer ways to get to the corner, I kind of been using like newer ways to like launch them up to the corner and stuff, or get them to the wall. And it's just like it just always just depends on the wall, right, on where you're actually are on the screen. So you always have to pay attention to that. Like this is still really good to do. Like it's always stuff like that where you have to just pay attention to your surroundings and stuff. It's also you can apply it with back one as well. Like if I do a regular route with Victor, you can do that, and then yeah, see, it's like always just like paying attention to your surroundings and stuff, and understanding what move I have to use in order to get the correct amount of wall carry. But that just comes with playing your character. But yeah, there's also one more thing I want to talk about. I'm trying to see if I can remember it, but if I don't, it's oh well. but I kind of wanted to just like talk about like no patch, Armor King obviously being here now, some of the Victor stuff here, and going over like my thought process on how I wanted to like kind of like work on my game plan, because like I said, we're all trying to get better, and it's always good to have 2 different play styles. Always do that, because when I was like streaming Tekken like last week, one of my viewers, Hallie, shout out to that man, we were talking about like the mental stack. We were talking about all this stuff with Victor, and I was like, yeah, you know, I was like, this kind of makes for a good idea for a video, and I kind of wanted to like get this out there and really like chat with you guys about it and see what you guys think, because when you're obviously playing the game, it's totally different than watching it. But there's so many things that you can and cannot do. Like I told you guys, when I play Victor, there's either 2 ways I play Victor, where I'm kind of just like in your face, and I'm kind of like just hoping and praying that I'm gonna win with the mix-ups, and I'm going to just keep applying it until you show me like that you're not afraid to press, right? And then there's another version that I play Victor as, where I'm very reserved with Victor. I'll kind of just like throw out stand 1 more, down forward 1, sidestep 1+2, 1+2. Like there's just like little stuff like that that I kind of like change in my game plan in order to frustrate my opponents more. Now I have to just start incorporating more down 4, since obviously down 4 is still really strong. Go back to using up 2s, up 1s, and then, oh, you know what? I also forgot about this. I need to start using down back 3 more. Down back 3 is really good since it high crushes. So if you haven't really like checked out down back 3, always like look at what you can do, because stuff like this is really nice, where Victor is just able to kind of just use what he can. It's same thing with like back 4. Back 4 is really good as well, where I haven't really used it as much because I just don't really think about using these tools. But that's the thing, right? It's like you always got to like sit there in the lab and just say, hey, what can I do for this? And obviously back 4 is really good because it's a homing high, safe -2. If they get hit, you can confirm into that. Perfumer 1+2, which is +6. Or you can go Perfumer 1+2 into EI and then force them to guess again and see what they do. It's just all about labbing your options and figuring out what I can and cannot do, and seeing exactly how can I actually take my character to the next level, because that's what you want to do, right? Whether you are a purple rank, whether you are a blue rank, or you are trying to get to Tekken God or Tekken God Supreme or even God of Destruction, there's always levels to it, and there's always another way for you to get there. And you may be stuck at some point, but you're never going to be there forever, because the more you lab, the more you adapt, the more you understand your character, it's obviously going to work out better in the future. But there we have it, guys. I just wanted to make a nice little video about that. Hopefully you guys can come down below into the comment section and start a conversation, because it's always great to have conversations with you guys. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's a nice little break from the gameplay, because I always need to take these type of breaks where I'm not posting gameplay, but I'm kind of just sitting here and labbing and just going through my thoughts and seeing what I can and cannot do. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed it once again, and we will see y'all in the next video. Peace out, guys.